Alright guys, so recently I've been traveling and when you're on the train and you look outside the window, you can see a lot of sceneries. And I'm going to practice to recreate one of the scenery that I see on the train. Okay, let's get started. So first, let's get the canvas. So maybe a studio pen would do. Okay, it's black. First, let's just get window ready. Okay, and I can remember to increase the threshold. There will be no like a creak. And what I'm going to do is to make it rounded. Okay, you don't want it like sharp edges. You don't want this sharp turn here. It don't need to be like perfectly straight line, but nothing extraordinary, nothing out of ordinary. Okay, so there will be the window. Of course, you can change it. Okay, you change it smaller if you think, so for example, there will be the window here. Yeah, I think it's good. Just make it center, add more. So here will be our window. And let's add some of the trees. Increase it. Okay. Because the trees is organic, so you don't want to be too straight. I want to capture the glimpse of the trees that I saw, so we just tiny branches here. Okay. So yeah, while you are drawing, you don't need to like recreate everything. You just need to have that certain feeling. Okay, you don't need everything to be perfect. Just and of course you can adjust the size to make it bigger, smaller, all that. Okay, we decrease the size. Just adding a tiny little bit, like branch here and there. Okay, let me increase it. Okay, that's about it. Once you got all this, you can see the background color still a little bit lacking. Okay, you got all this content, but there's no background color. So what I'm going to do is to hide it. I'm going to add a little bit of background color. The sunset will be approximately this color. Okay, so what I'm going to do is to use maybe I want a little bit artistic, maybe soft brush. Okay, add a layer. So there will be the sun setting. I want a little bit of warm color. Okay, a little bit warm. I can select the whole layer, adding a little bit Gaussian blur. Maybe too much. I want to add a little bit more bright color in between. And I think Gaussian blur can do the work. Yeah, that's about it. And I'm going to put this behind it. Yeah, that's more like it. And if you just draw the silhouette of the trees, it'll be a little bit boring. And to be honest, a little bit unrealistic. Because if you think about this, light doesn't work this way. Light sort of come like shine at the edges of the tree, a little bit of reflection. So what I'm going to do is to draw that. I want to add a little bit more to make it more organic, but not so detailed to become unrealistic. So here is a trick. You can, every time I do something, I duplicate it, okay? I hide it and I alpha lock it. And then here comes the interesting part. I'm going to use the soft brush and I'm going to use the color here at the left or right side, just really near the tree, okay? And since the color is a little bit darker, so I'm going to make it more saturated here. And I want to make it subtle. Since this is alpha locked, doesn't really matter. So I'm going to just gently adding sort of a hue on a tree, especially at the edges. Yeah, pretty good. I love it. Yeah, pretty good. You can add more variations, but I don't want become too detailed, okay? For example, I want to make it more warm at the edges, okay? So for example, I can make it like smaller, but at the edges, the light will be much more, especially the tiny branches, okay? At the edges, we can add more. Since it's alpha lock, you don't need to worry too much. If you're afraid of a definitive line like this, you can just make it not so much by dampening down a little bit, okay? The good thing about light is unpredictable, so you add a little bit randomness. In fact, it can give you a very interesting feeling. I think I can smudge it a little bit using the soft brush. Just smudge it, make it, yeah, just smudge it, make it more natural. Okay, just make it more natural, but not so definitive. Okay, so you got this light shine through the tree. Okay, so there's like a tree here, light shine from the back, and you can see some sort of light on the tree. Yeah, I love it. And remember, Gaussian blur is always your best friend. If you're still unsatisfied or maybe not so confident about your hand draw things, I'm going to duplicate it, right? And I'm going to add a little bit, just tiny little bit, Gaussian blur. Okay, just make it more natural. But sometimes I think the brush, hint of the brush is good. If everything is Gaussian blur, I don't think it's good. Okay, so I'll just add a tiny little bit of Gaussian blur. Okay, and you compare. Doesn't really matter that much, but I think it's good to have a little bit. And you can combine this just to make it a little bit semi-transparent. Okay, yeah, pretty good. And then I'm going to add, because you got a lot of trees, okay, so I'm going to use maybe some organic. I'll try to use the default things, okay, so you guys can follow along. So I think the default, we got organic, we got a lot of tree leaves, bamboo, cotton. Yeah, I think I'm going to snow gum. Okay, I'm going to use snow gum. here comes to another tip. So first, you draw something. You know, something do have some color, but you have to consider the light. Because if the trees are green, okay, but it's the sunset, so the sunset will heat the trees' leaves and give you a very different color. So you have to think about this. And while you set a tone of the color, you're going to start with the lightest one and gradually add to the dark one here, okay? Because I'm going to draw this like further away leaves first, and these leaves will be like the first leaves to be hit by this amazing sunset light. So that will be really bright. I'm going to use the color here. And even I want, just add a little bit of variation. I want to brighten it up, okay? Maybe just add a little bit, but I want to brighten it up. Even though, it might be too much, but I want to try this. And what I'm going to do is to maybe add a layer just down below, okay? And I just try it. I'm not sure this will work. A little bit of variation here. Still, I think it's a little bit gray. Maybe just completely white. Okay. Yeah, I love it. And while you are doing this, you can change the size. Okay. While you're doing this leaves, you can change the size. Just add a little bit of variation. Okay. Okay, I love it. And you can play around with this. I think color burn, normal lighten. Oh my gosh, very interesting one. You can play around with it. I think screen is pretty good. I love the screen. Color dodge. Color dodge also is pretty good. I think screen or color dodge also pretty good. Just write everything up. Light color overlay. Overlay is also pretty good. Soft light, hard light, vivid light. I think vivid light is also pretty good. Okay, that really depends on your personal preference as well as taste. Maybe vivid light. Okay, you can duplicate this, okay, multiple times. If you think it's not bright enough, you can do that. Right now, I think it's pretty good. Gaussian blur, always our best friend. Things is a moving train. Train move this way. Maybe blur. Maybe I'm going to use motion blur. Just to show you that you can use a lot of things. Motion blur will go this way. Okay? If it's Gaussian, you'll get upside, downside, left and right from all directions. But I think motion blur do a pretty good job at this time. I want to add a little bit of motion blur, maybe play around with this, but decrease opacity a little bit, or maybe just to make it normal. Maybe not normal. Okay, maybe screen, something like that. Color dodge. Color dodge would be a good one. Okay, so 2 times. And I think at this time the layer is here. Yeah, we got this layer here. Maybe add a little bit, tiny little bit of motion blur. Tiny little bit of motion blur. Yeah, right now the alpha lock, we can unlock it. Just to add a little bit of motion blur. Because we don't want the trees to be like, let me just hide. Okay, pretty strange. Let me let's think about this. Let's combine these two together. So I can easily add a motion blur. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay? That's pretty good. because you don't want like, this is like a clip paint, so I'll add a little bit blur, so it's like moving quickly, can give you this kind of feeling. I love it. And yeah, pretty good. And get a sort of a cinematic view of a quick moving train look through the window here. But that's just a background, and the trees that got hit by the light, by the sunset most. But still, you can add more. You can add so much more. So I want to add the second layer of leaves. So I think these two, we combine these two together. Okay, of course you can leave the process. I think this is just a leave it here. Okay, and add another layer. This time, let me use the snow gum. I think the snow gum is pretty good. So previously we choose the color here. Okay, what I'm going to do is to make it more saturated. Okay, go this way, just add a little bit of variation, right? Make it more saturated. Go here. But I also wanted to second color to go maybe a little bit greenish. I'm going to be more brave, a little bit green. And okay, I'm going to still use this snow gum. Let's try this. Let's try this. Yeah, I love this color combination. Don't just do this, okay? Do your stroke intentionally, okay? It maybe seems a little bit random, but still you are drawing trees, okay? So you have to think about this. You're drawing trees. So you have to actually think about how trees are grow in real life. Okay, just add stroke intentionally. Okay, and we can also change a little bit of color. Okay, let me make it this a bit. Okay, let me make it a little bit. Just change a little bit. This time, change the size. Okay, I'm going to make it bigger. Of course, at this travel, as I'm traveling, I am processing as well as do a lot of Lightroom. I don't know how to say that. Photography as well as processing, and this gives me a complete new understanding of color, because I can take a picture of a green scenery and change that to like yellowish green or completely red, something like that. You can do that. Just play around with the different curve. It's amazing. I also have started a new series of photography as well as videography as digital art. You can check it out. I think it's pretty good. Before we do the Gaussian blur, duplicate it, and it's not a Gaussian blur. I think most of the time we use a Gaussian blur. This time I want to capture the movement, so just add a little bit here, maybe a little bit here. I think it's pretty good. This do look pretty good. Let's play around with the setting here. Lighten, color dodge. I don't want color dodge. Just to add a little soft light, vivid light. Yeah, maybe this time normal is a good choice. Okay, multiply will be a little bit too dark. I think normal is pretty good. Yeah, I want it 100%. Twice, but this time we will just duplicate, have a less motion blur, so you get more dense feeling. And can I just move it around just to add a little bit more variation? Okay, I'm going to test it. Okay, so this is the one without it. I think if I'm missing something, seems a little bit too bright. Okay. Okay, I'm not going to just duplicate it because I want to draw another layer. Okay. But this time I want to get a little bit closer. Okay. So maybe put the layer just above it, and as the leaves grow closer, maybe some overlap and overlay with the trees. That's an area here, so it'll be more like darker. I think I'm going to go for not going to go to a completely like a black, but rather really dark and saturated. Okay, so let's try this. And I want this to sort of overlap and get rid of the white light area, because I believe sometimes it's a little bit too white, because I don't want to leave a lot of blank area here. And I think most of the leaves, especially pretty dark leaves, will be above. So I'm going to make it darker, just add a little bit of variation. Yeah. I think maybe not. Okay, I think I'm going to add another as a frame, because it's sort of a overlap. Yeah, let's do this. Maybe add. Okay, so there's a mistake here. I'm trying to find a way to solve it. So the frame should be another layer. Yeah. Let's do this and then add it another. Okay. And make it darker. Make it above. But this time just be careful. Don't do the overlap. Okay. Just make it darker. Pretty good. I love this feeling, and this will have a little bit weird. So what I'm going to do is to make it completely dark. This is like a trick here. Two color double tap completely dark. I want to get this edges completely gone, but they still got some variation here. Okay, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to overlap it, because luckily I got this back plan here. Okay, But if you do this, they will get the light gone. So what I'm going to do is to duplicate it in case I lose it, and then I'm going to erase it. I'm going to use a pretty sharp eraser here. So let's think about this. Hard brush, that's good. I'm going to hard brush all these branches, or maybe I just get rid of the connecting point and use a little bit, or maybe I can use a remove tool. Yeah, sorry about that, silly me. Let's do a freehand selection. Yeah, silly me. Yeah, silly me, I can do that. I can select everything and just remove it. And not color fill, just to simply remove. Right, pretty good. You're pretty strange. I should have removed. Okay, let's see which steps I got it wrong. Selection. Yeah, I already do this selection. I just erase everything. Yeah, since I already selected it, nothing I can do there. But that's a little bit weird. Yeah, let me just undo this. Let's think about this. Okay, I know I can do this, but manually. But just manually overlap it by adding another frame. Okay? Yeah. So I'm going to use recent studio pen, pretty dark. Just erase all this and create another frame. Okay, I know this may not be the best way to solve this, but hey, I made a mistake, so sorry about that. So I always like not just simply erase things, but rather overlap it so I can save the information. Okay, yeah, pretty good. And those leaves here as well as the leaves here, so one before, one behind, is not Gaussian blur or motion blur. Let's add a little bit of that. And here's another tip. So the thing more closer to you is more blurred. Okay, it's more blurred, and if it's far away, really far away places, it will not be as blurred as you see. But since it's leaves, so you'll be pretty blurred. So that really depends on you, right? Just add a blur. Yeah, I love this. Yeah, pretty good feeling. Pretty good. And I think the leaves here is a little bit weird. The color's a little bit weird. The color here is a little bit weird. Doesn't really matter. I'm going to just to change the color a little bit to maybe here and here. Just a little bit. Over there maybe. And just blur it again. So you can add more layers, just make things more interesting, okay? Add some layers here, and some overlap here. Okay, and blur it. Yeah, don't use a Gaussian, because this motion blur is so much better. Yeah, just give you a more natural feeling. Okay? And the ground looks a little bit empty, so I'm going to add a little bit to the ground. I think ground most of the time is behind the trees, so let me move it behind. And the ground, I want to add a little bit of variation to color, so maybe organic, paper daisy, that's pretty good. Or maybe sword grass. Sword grass looks pretty good. Yeah, let's try sword grass, but this time instead of green, I want every color to tilt it to here. Okay, so let's try this. And this at the sunset, so I'm going to combine this. Maybe here, some color here. I'm not sure how it will work out. Just a little bit base here. Add a little bit tilt, add a bit of variation. This is much more layered. Got different. And a little bit tilted here. And add the final touch, motion blur. Okay. I think things don't overdo it. If you overdo it, it would just blur out. You don't want that. Just add a little bit texture, and I love it. And I'm gonna make it a little bit darker, and make it maybe one before it. Okay, but you don't want to overdo it. Okay, a little bit motion blur. That's good. And of course I need another correction. Will be ink, studio pen, completely dark. Just get the frame redo. Just hide the messy grass. Yeah. So just give you like really close to you and far away. Okay? The closer you are, the much more darker it will be. You can even add some transition. So for example, you can add another, got completely dark, got the recent grass, like pretty dark, and make it smaller. Okay, Even black and white, I think. Good. Motion blur. Good. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. And I also want to add some of the light that shines through it. So that will be maybe the final touches of all this. So we got a lot of tools at our disposal. So for example, you can use like the Gaussian blur. You can use motion blur to get this like light shine through it effect. But this is more about moving. So I will just add in another layer and using soft brush. Really simple one. And I want to change a little bit color because it's a little bit too white. I want to tilt it. Just have a tiny little bit of color. Okay, very good. Make it smaller. Just add tiny details. And so, for example, you want something like this, really bright, you can just one here. Okay. Just like a lens effect. Like a lens, shine here. Okay, so for example, if there's a light shine through here, you can got this. Or maybe some light shine here. It's really just your personal preference. And you can make it smaller and more increase opacity. Just add some part like here. Just to feel the blank whitish area just become more natural, like light shine. This is some random things that you can add, just make your drawing a little bit interesting. Okay, I love it. And don't make it like a strand on one line, and don't make one color just change, so it become less boring. Yeah, I really pretty love this. And the final touch, you can use Gaussian blur finally, I think. Just make it like a hazed effect. I love this. And I think the trees, let me just first duplicate this. I think trees need to have more motion. A little bit more, but that will be like too much. Maybe that's too much. I'm going to duplicate this and then add a little bit of motion. Maybe combine all this together and duplicate this multiple times. Let's have a little bit of motion. And change the leaves a little bit. Okay. Yeah, I think I overdo it. So just redo this. Yeah, I think maybe just don't do it. I think I overdo it. Yeah, I think it's a little bit too dark here. Let me add a little bit of light. just add a little bit of light here. Soft brush would do. Add a little bit of light here, just to shine through here. Okay. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. And thanks for your time. And if you think my video was helpful, do please give me a thumbs up. And if you want to help me directly, please join the Patreon. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thanks, bye.